Hey everybody, welcome back to Mad Max's Garage. I'm still Max. Thanks for tuning in. Last video we left off with my ceiling definitely not looking like this. It had a whole lot of popcorn ceiling on there. It looked like crap. It's peeling down in places. So I decided about 7 o'clock at night one night on a Friday, I was like, I'm going to take this off. So I did. And thus began the project that you see today. Really, the reason I started this was because the light over my tool bench, which my phone is sitting on right now, stopped working. And so I decided I'm going to get a new light. And while I was at the local hardware store, I saw these really nice LED lights. They're 4 feet long. And I decided, all right, I'm going to get a few of them and really light up the garage. And then I got home and I went, man, I could flush mount these on the ceiling and it'll look great. Except for there's popcorn ceiling there. And so then I decided to, while you're in there, take off the popcorn ceiling. And yeah, here we are today, because I took it off and decided, all right, well, I can't just leave it with all the drywall showing and all the mud that they put on the drywall. So I went, all right, I gotta paint it. What color do I paint it? Well, let's start with a white base coat. And I was kind of on my way to the hardware store again. And I was like, man, I want to do something different, something cool. And it's like, man, what about an American flag? Well, I could do it on a wall, but I've got stuff on most of my walls. I guess I could do it on the ceiling, but would that be kind of weird? Like, which way would the stars face? And I decided, well, let's just make my entire garage into a flag. So that's what you see behind me. I wrote down some notes, and I'm going to kind of go through the process and my thought process that led to this, and then after I'm done yabbering on, we'll get to a time-lapse video of everything from the bare drywall on the ceiling all the way up to what you see now, with the help of my wonderful mother. She helped me a lot with the stars. Thank you, Mom. My dad helped us by keeping the door open and letting the house air conditioning out, which actually did help us. It kept us from getting heat stroke in this Texas heat. Let's see, my first note, why did I do this? Well, I kind of already went over that, but more into why I wanted a flag. I'm a rather patriotic guy. I got patriotic cars, got a Dodge Viper under a tarp of plastic behind me, a 97 F-250. I'm about to buy another classic American car, so I got patriotic cars. I have a patriotic garage. I think it only fits. It's also kind of a fun project. Who doesn't want to show off? Who doesn't want to have something to do when they go home on the weekend instead of drinking your paycheck and watching YouTube? Well, I mean, you guys like watching YouTube, but this is different. Let's see, next thing, how long did it take? Man, for me, I've got kind of a lot of stuff going on. This took me just over a month and change. I think if somebody dedicated like 2 or 3 weekends to this, they could easily get it done, especially if it's not as hot as Texas. It was topping 100, close to 110 some days that I was out here. Granted, I wasn't out here in the heat of the day. I would usually wait until nighttime, turn on my little air conditioning that you can see right there. The exhaust goes out the window. But still, it was still hot out here. Probably high 80s, low 90s in the garage most of the time I was working. So yeah, I think 2 to 3 weekends somebody could get this done. And I think you could go from popcorn to patriotic. Let's see. So let's say you're watching this video and you think, man, that looks really cool, Max. How do I do that? Well, first of all, I'd like to say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So thank you. So I've got my whiteboard down here that I wrote all of my measurements on. So if you want to pause the video and look at this, basically on this side, I've got where the stripes are going to be and where I needed to put my masking tape. So I measured from the floor to the ceiling, or at least the lower trim to the ceiling. I divided that by 13 to get the 13 stripes of the American flag. And then I figured out, all right, the tape needs to go on the top of this line, the bottom of this line to make the red stripes all even, since I started with a white base coat. And then over here on this side, it's my measurement for the stars. The stars are 2.2 feet in diameter. I'll tell you in a second how I got to that. But I got all these measurements, and so you got like side to star, and then side star to star, so that's the distance between the stars as you go along the side between these, and then front and back star to star, you see it up there, that's this way. So I just figured out how to orient myself in my own garage and made measurements that would work for me. So how did I get those measurements? I measured my garage, first of all. I measured the floor to the ceiling. That one was the easy part, masking out the stripes. They're all parallel to the ground. They're all straight lines. The ceiling with the stars was a lot more difficult. Measured out the floor, because hopefully it's about the same size as the ceiling. And I went on PowerPoint, of all things, and I drew up my floor on PowerPoint. Got a little kind of egress for the door over here, so it kind of juts into where the ceiling would be, and so I had to put that in there and figure out how I was going to account for that. I ended up just pretending that wasn't there, put the stars up to it, and some of them got a little cut off, but I think it looks cool that way. And then, so after I had the floor plan down on PowerPoint, I got a picture of an American flag off of Google, and I overlaid it and made it slightly opaque so that I could see the floor plan through the flag. So you got those two layers there. I just sized it so that the stars were roughly, the area, the field of blue was roughly the size of my garage layout. And then I took measurements using the arrow or line function from the walls and the front and back to each of the stars, and then between the stars and the circle, I drew a circle around a star to find my 2.2 feet for the diameter of the star. I then had to go onto YouTube and search up how to draw a perfect star, because I realized I don't know how to do that. It turns out it's a lot more complicated than I thought. I had to watch that video about 39 times to figure out how to do it. And even then, I'm not sure if my stars are perfect, but they are pretty dang close, and if anybody gives me crap about it, I'm going to hand them a paintbrush and tell them they can fix it themselves. Let's see. Alright, cool, I showed you guys the measurements. Let's see, what colors did I use? I used 3 colors, obviously, red, white, and blue, but which ones? So for the white, I used Ultra Pure White. I got that from Home Depot, and I used Behr paint. It's their semi-gloss enamel. Why did I get semi-gloss enamel? Because the guy behind the counter said that one's the easiest to clean, and I get dirty in the garage, my hands get dirty, I touch the walls, I want to be able to clean that, so I was sold. So I got Ultra Pure White, Beacon Blue, and then as soon as I saw the red, I had to get that one. It's called 100 Mile an Hour Red. I didn't look at a single other red. This was like the brightest, most brilliant red I had ever seen, so I had to get it. Alright, let's see, what else should you get? Get a lot of brushes, get a lot of rollers. I got it's like a 5-inch roller and a 10 or 12-inch roller, something like that. The big one obviously for the walls and the base coat and everything. The small one for going in between your tape on the stripes and also in between all the stars. And then the brushes for outlining stuff and the detail work in the corners, around your trim and, you know, around door handles and stuff. Let's see. A lesson I learned the hard way. Pay attention to your prep work, especially if you took off popcorn ceiling before you're painting it. Don't just slap paint on it. It's not going to stick on the mudded areas. On the just drywall areas, it'll stay great. On the mudded areas, it'll be this chalky texture where the paint wants to soak into it, dry immediately, and then stick to your roller instead of the ceiling. So the cure for that is after you scraped your popcorn ceiling off, you got to go back across everything with like a damp rag or a damp paper towel or something. I learned that the hard way, so in a couple of years I might have some peeling paint and I might be kicking myself for not doing the prep work and not doing my research as well. But you people watching this, you'll have done your research because you learned from my mistakes. Let's see. Smooth out the bumpy patches. So around the edges of my entire garage there's still residual popcorn, and my mom and I found it very difficult to paint over that without getting drips and runs down the walls. When I was just painting the red, it wasn't really a problem because red just was running into red. When I was painting the blue on the ceiling, that became a problem because it was blue dripping onto red, and that, I mean, it may make purple, but it doesn't look great. Yeah, figure out how to sand it down, knock it down with a putty knife or something, and you'll do a lot better. You'll have a lot less cussing to do. Let's see, other lessons learned. Maybe don't do it in the heat of the summer. I chose to do this project in July in Texas. Yeah, I never said I was smart. Let's see. Oh, the masking tape. Again, in the heat of Texas, masking tape doesn't stick very well to walls when it's 100 degrees in your garage. So if it's not sticking well, get a bucket of push pins like I have here. Mine are now somewhat covered in red paint. I wonder why. And just every few feet, put a push pin in your painter's tape on the stripes. Let's see. I already said YouTube how to draw a perfect star. Last note, don't sweat the details. You know, I've got a couple drips, a couple runs in places, got some paint on my floor. I messed up that star right there. That was supposed to be a white point and I accidentally painted over it blue. Who cares? Once again, if anybody critiques you on it, hand them a paintbrush. And then one more thing, last but not least, I want to say thank you to my parents. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Love you guys. Thanks to my sister, Allison, friends who were here. They couldn't help me because they're all busy. They all have lives as well. They got chores and families and stuff. I just got cars, so I spend my time out here. So I said I started this for my light being broken. I did hang up the first light that I got. It's over top of my tool bench right now. It's lighting up my face and giving me this wonderful like 3-chin look down here. But the astute among you might notice that I've got some lights above my head, and maybe you see one over here or something. I can't tell. But you may be wondering, well, what are the fruits of my labor? Let's see if this remote works. There we go. I have a much brighter garage now. I can actually see what I'm doing, and I'll be able to, here, let me tilt you down a little bit. I will be able to see in the engine bay of the Viper at any angle. Even when the hood's on, I have to work from the back. It'll be great. I bet I'll even have a better time getting into the wheel well and seeing that. There's that. Here, I'll do a 360. Painted the walls behind the shelves. There's my tool bench, my water heater. There's my door. I did paint one of the doors, the door into the house, but not the one that covers the HVAC unit. All right, so there you are. That's where it got us. I'm extremely proud of my work, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. I can't wait to work on my cars in here for a couple years to come, until my job sends me elsewhere. So without further ado, let's get to the time lapse. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe with any questions, comments, or critiques. Thanks. See ya.